Perhaps there are some new people who have come this morning. So, we are having a dialogue. The word dialogue means putting into words one's thought. And as two friendly people talking over together with their problems, perhaps we could this morning discuss or have a dialogue, conversation in that spirit, that we are together examining, exploring, investigating our problems. This is not a group therapy. Group therapy implies exposing one's own dirty laundry to another, and I don't think that's worth it. Whereas if we could examine deeply our problems, perhaps we could resolve them this morning and not carry them over year after year till we die. So what should we talk over together?
Krishnaji, I would like to ask you, will thought and experiencing always remain or appear to be as opposites? Or is there an understanding which can bridge this gap together?
Yes, sir.
If we could talk about violence and cruelty in human beings, and what is the relationship between that and violence and cruelty in the animal kingdom, and where does that relationship end in terms of inherent...
I don't quite follow your question, sir.
I'm asking, what is the relation? Is there a relationship between cruelty in human beings?
Between?
Cruelty in human beings, violence in human beings, and violence in animals, and where does that relationship end between the violence?
The first question was, is thought and experience, are they different? And can they be brought together? And the other question is, what is the relationship between human beings and animals who are both of them violent? Any other question?
Yes. I was wondering, we ended our conversation last Tuesday on a particular point in that you mentioned that after 45 minutes of our discussions, that if, say between two loved ones, if one did not understand after that period of time there was no relationship or the love between the loved one didn't exist, I just wondering if you would somewhat go over that in that I personally I don't agree with that in the sense that, say in your descriptions of a certain particular point in time, as you had talked about the observer and the thing to be observed being one, when you describe a particular point, maybe you're coming at your discussions are at that particular level, if I may use the right level, whereas say the audience here and trying to understand your philosophies and so forth, we may not necessarily be at a
think I understand your questions.
And one other thing, just an observation. It seems to me that during the course of people asking questions and so forth, if the question is somewhat irrelevant to what's going on while your discussions, you seem to get to a certain point frustrated. And I just wondered, in your talks about infinite patience in your books and so forth, there seems to be a paradox or a contradiction there. That's just an observation, in the sense that, like, the people here said they didn't really understand a lot of what we said on Tuesday, and they're asking questions. If those questions are asked out of misunderstanding, and so it may not be to the point to you because maybe they really don't understand, and you just seem to get frustrated.
So I don't quite follow your questions which you have asked. I don't quite do.
I just wondered if you would just comment on that, or
Why I'm frustrated? Big pardon?
why you're frustrated by the questions that are asked, and
All right, sir. Why are you frustrated by the questions asked by the audience? What else are questions, sir?
If one really cares about another, what does that imply?
If one cares for another, what does that imply?
Could we talk about relationship?
Could we talk about relationship?
Just to repeat what I asked, it was thought and experiencing.
It's thought and experiencing. I understand, sir. Yes.
Can you explain how we can have a relationship without fear and jealousy?
Can we have relationship with another without jealousies, fears, and anxieties, and all the miseries that come in relationship?
Is there something to be learned from the experience of having been in a place before? We call that experience déjà vu. When you feel as if you've been through a particular action before, even though now in the present it's all new experience, you feel as if you've been there before. Is there something to be learned from that?
Is there something to be learned from
Déjà vu?
from?
Déjà vu.
From the feeling of having been here before.
Well, learned from having been here before,
From feeling as if
feeling of.
Could we talk over the question of the me?
Could we talk over the question of me? That's enough. Let's start. First of all, to answer that question, I'm afraid I don't feel frustrated. Perhaps you think I should, but I'm not frustrated. So let's drop that question. Should we discuss relationship? What is the significance of relationship? The depth of relationship. Should we discuss that? Or should we go into this question of thought? What is the relationship of thought to experiencing? And what is experiencing without thought? Should we go into that? Oh, you want to go into the question of experiencing and the relation to thought, relationship of experiencing and thought. All right. Do you want to go into it very deeply?
Yes.
First of all, let's find out together, and I mean together, we are both of us are exploring. We are both of us trying to understand what we are talking about. We are using words which we both understand. I am not speaking Italian or Russian, but in English. So, together we are going to examine this very complex problem. First of all, what is thinking? What does one mean by the word thinking? How does thinking arise? What is the significance of thinking? What is the source of all thought? All thought, both scientific, religious, the thought of everyday, the business thought. So we are discussing, talking over together this question of thought. Why has thought played such extraordinary part in human life? Does thought exist without the word? And is the word thought? Please, all these are implied in this question. So please, if you will kindly go together in this. So first we will begin by asking, is there a thinking without word? Is there a thinking without a symbol, an image, a picture? You understand my question? Or the word is the thought. Or does thought bring the word into action? You see, it's a very complex question, this. So we are going to go into this very, very slowly and find out the whole nature and the structure of thought. That's what you want, don't you?
Yes.
At least you want to discuss that, and we'll come to relationship presently. So when one asks you, what is thinking? What is your response to that word? If you observe what is going on, that is, the speaker asks you a question, what is thinking? Your immediate reaction, if you are aware of it, is to search out in your memory the correct answer. Either the accumulated memory through books, the information that you have received by reading psychological books, and so on. So your immediate response to that question, which is what is thinking, your brain is tremendously active. Looking, asking, searching. Right? And what do you find? May I put it this way? When one is asked a familiar question, what's your name, where do you live, and so on, the response is immediate. Why?
The process of thinking is just looking up the thought in your memory bank. You look
Yes,
it
sir.
up and you
But I've asked you a question. Just a minute, sir. I've asked you a question, which is, I ask you, what's your name? Your response is immediate. Right? I'm asking you, why is it so immediate? Don't answer. Look in, first find out, sir.
I'm more concerned with blabbing than investigating. It's right there.
No, sir. I'm asking, I ask your name, and you reply very quickly. Why? I ask you something a little more complex. You take time. I ask you something, and you reply, say, I don't know. So there are these three factors. One, immediate response, what's your name, what's your house, etc., etc. And a little more complex question, you take a time, a lag, an interval between the question and the answer. And if there is a question about which you have never thought or investigated, you say, I really don't know. Right? That's clear. So there are these three factors. The one, familiar, quick answer, because you have repeated your name 100,000 times, you are very familiar with it. So the response is quick. There is no time lag. There is a time lag if I say, what is the distance between here and Timbuktu? You say, you say, by Joe, let me think, and you are calculating. And you say, so much on, I don't know. So, or I ask you a question, do you know if there is God? Don't answer. If you are sane, rational, not committed to any form of belief, then you say, I really don't know. So that these three things. Now I ask, the question is, what is thinking? You will not be able to reply to it quickly because you haven't thought about it. Now, I ask you a question, what is thinking? Your brain is searching, right? Asking, looking, watching. Where can I find that out? Where is the answer to that? Isn't that what's going on? So you are looking into memory, bank of memory, and trying to find an answer to it. Have you found it?
Yes.
Have you found an answer for yourself which must be rational, logical, objective, can stand up against any questioning, which can be doubted, not easily accepted? So, have you found such an answer?
Yes.
So, we are asking what is thinking. Is not thinking the response of memory? Right, sir? Memory as knowledge, as experience, stored up in the brain, in the very cells themselves, and that knowledge, experience, memory response. So, the experience, knowledge, the memory, and the response of memory is thinking. Right? Right, sirs? No, not, don't please accept because this poor chap talks about it. See it for.
They're all one and the same, aren't they, sir?
What's up?
They're all one and the same. All three of them.
I can't.
All one and the same, he said.
Huh?
They're all one and the same.
I'm coming to that. That is the experience, knowledge, memory, thinking. It is a tremendously rapid movement. Right? It's one unit, not separate banks. It is one united movement. Right? So, thinking is based on memory, which is the past. Right? So, thinking can never be new. Right? What's that?
There are inventions that are new.
There are inventions.
Ah, invention. No, wait a minute, sir. I won't wait. Don't go off. We'll answer that question presently. But first, see what is happening to you, not to the person who is inventing a new thing. We'll go into that. What is happening when you ask this question? That apply it to yourself, please, not to the inventor. So, do we see this fact? The nature and the structure of thinking. The structure, like a building. The structure of thinking is the movement of the past as memory. So, memory, thought, and thinking can never be under any circumstances new. Because it is the response of memory, the past experience, stored up as knowledge. So, thought is coming from the past. Yes, sir.
Cannot this thinking, this thought of this knowledge and all that, cannot that come together into a new thought, a new realization, a culmination?
Thought can never realize anything new. Because it is the response of memory, the old. There can be the new only when thought stops. What's that?
If it is new, is it not thought?
No, please, I want to do first of all, let's get this clear. See what we are doing. Our whole social, moral, political, religious structure is based on this movement of thought. All our gods, all our churches, all our rituals, all our Savior, everything is based on thought. Right? But so if you say yes, see the danger of what you are saying. If there is the urge to find the new, totally new, thought must totally come to an end. Which means you must abandon everything that is based on thought. Which you won't. Is this possible? The lady asked, is this possible to end thought? What's up? I can't hear, so sorry. So, without blocking oneself, let's find out. Our relationship with each other, man, woman, husband and wife, boy and girl, and so on, is that not relationship, please listen, based on thought?
What is the capacity to combine thoughts, which is thinking?
What is the capacity of conveying thought?
Combining. Combination of images into thinking. What is that capacity?
What is the capacity of
combination?
Capacity to combine.
The capacity to combine various images.
That's right. Is that
Just listen carefully, sir. Just don't add more to it. What is the capacity? I'm not trying to stop you, sir. What is the capacity that combines, that adds, that brings together various images? Right? What do you think it is the capacity? I've got an image of country, I've got an image of my wife, I've got an image of my, if I believe, God, I've got an image of my boss, right? Now, what is it that combine, that brings about relationship with each other? Is it not thought itself? Wait a minute, sir. We'll go into it differently. You will see it in a minute. We'll see each other in 2 minutes. I'm asking, what is the relationship between human beings? What is that relationship is based on? What?
Feeling.
Feeling. Is there a feeling without thought? You're all so quick. If you did not recognize a feeling, would there be a feeling? That is, One is jealous. That's a feeling. Right? Right? And if you did not recognize it, which is the word jealousy is stored up in memory, representing a particular feeling, and when you use that word jealousy, it's recognized. Otherwise, it's a feeling. So the thought, there is no feeling without thought. This, please, I don't want to go into all. This is a very complex thing. I wish we'll go into it presently. I'm asking you, first of all, what is the relationship of human beings, what is it based on? Husband, wife, boyfriend, girl, and so on. What is it based on?
Can there be direct perception as well as thought in a relationship?
What?
Can there be direct perception as well as thought in a relationship?
Can there be direct perception as well as thought in a relationship?
Can there be direct perception as well as thought in relationship? We're going to find out. We are asking each other, what is our relationship based on?
The relationship is based on thought.
Or when you say your relationship is based on thought, do you know what are the implications of that?
There is no relationship.
No, so that's such. Can you say that to your wife? There is no relationship? Or to your girlfriend? Oh, it's all just thought? Please go into it together. Let's go into it. We're asking, what is this relationship based on?
Pain and pleasure.
Based on love. Is it? If it is based on love, then there can be no jealousy. Right? There can be no attachment. Right? There can be no possessiveness, no domination. No sense of attachment, belonging to me and belonging to another. So we won't, please, if you forgive me, we'll go into that word, and that's a very complex business, but so let's begin very simply. We like to think our relationship is based on love, on goodness, kindness, affection, care, love, and all the rest of it, but it is not. That's a fact, isn't it? Let's look at the facts. So we are asking, what is it based on? Fear.
Fear?
Is it based on fear?
Mutual exploitation.
I don't know, Said. You're all involved in it. I'm not. We don't look, please, sir, look at your wife, find out what your relationship is with her, instead of just throwing out words, or your girlfriend. Find out, look at it.
Based on need, the way we're raised in our society.
faced on me. What? Need. Which is what? I need you for what? Comfort? Sex? Dependency? You don't go into this. Are you frightened to go into this? Huh? Yes, sir.
Based on our past conditioning.
Gee, Willikins.
Sir, it seems that, I don't really know, but it seems from my experience that there is a force involved. There are two people. They're opposite, they're male and female. Or simply that there are two. There's you and there's me. And this force seems to be resolving that condition. It seems to be that there are two, and there is this deep desire, this deep need, which the force is seeking to resolve, to make the two one.
Sir, if you may point out most respectfully, I'm not really sure I point out respectfully, but may I point out that we're all so full of ideas, conclusions, what we want. We don't examine what is. If I'm married to and have a wife or a girlfriend, what's my relationship to her? And what is it based on? Attraction? Physical sensation? Sex? And the movement of thought, which predominates all this. No? I see you. Let's look at it, sir. You're married. One is married or has a girlfriend. What takes place? Instantly. Do look at it, please look at it. You are married, you have girlfriends. What takes, look at it. You have an image of her, haven't you? She has an image of you, hasn't she? No? Huh? No, yes, sir? No, start from there. You have an image about her, and she has an image about you. How does this image come into being?
It comes into being by the process of memory, which is thought.
So you are saying that this image building is based on memory. You said something awful yesterday. You are rude to me. You insulted me. You called me a fool. Registered memory and the building of image. Right? This, no?
Can't a relationship be fresh every time you see the person?
What?
Can't a relationship be fresh every time you see the person? You don't have an image?
But sir, that is an idea, a conclusion. You first begin with what is.
We see clearly, if we see intellectually that you're saying that all our relationship is based on memory, what should be, we need because we think we need, and there is no need other than that. But we see this all verbally, and it's not in our heart. How does it get there?
Sir, in our heart, to have a relationship in our heart, which means affection, care, you follow? All that's involved in that, have we got that? Apparently you can't look with frankly at this. one has an image about another, whether it's a wife or the president of this country or the Pope you have an image about each other. That's a fact based on previous memory, previous incidents, and stored up in the memory, and the memory which is image making. Memory is image, the word. Right? That's simple. So my relationship to my wife or girlfriend is based on an image which has been gathering through incidents. Sex, pleasure, displeasure, the memory of sex, the pleasure, all that. Then there is the dependence on her, right? The attachment, the possessiveness, all that is built up through time as memory and image. This is fact. No? No? Contradict, sir. Just break it down. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let's find out.
It's a fact.
That, right. Then your relationship is between these two images. See the implications of it. Memory, relationship between two people, husband, wife, boy, and all that, is between these two images, which thought has built together through time. It may be a 1 day or 1 second. It's already there. How when you say something nice to me, it's already in memory. Or when you insult me, it's already there. So, when there is a relationship between two images, is it relationship? No. Right. If it's not, then what are we talking about?
The minute that you say it can't be love. If you said it, then it's a thought and it's not love.
I'm not into that yet. I said a relationship between two images put together by thought and in which we are caught, right? Therefore, the constant battle, the struggle between man and woman, girl and boy, whatever, husband, wife, the constant conflict. Ending up in divorce and all the rest of it. Right, sir? Facts. Now let's move from there. I face the fact. I don't deceive myself. I don't say it's love, it's romance, it is, oh, a lovely feeling. Wash it all out. The fact is, it's based on this image making, right? Now my next question is, can this image making stop? You understand what? What's that?
He said, can there be that image making and not be caught by it?
Can that?
Can there be image making and not be caught by it?
I don't understand the question. Can you?
Can you have your cake and eat it too?
Can there be image making and yet not be caught in it?
Can the brain manufacture images without being caught in it?
I give it up. You haven't seen the question. You haven't, sir, you haven't understood the first part of the question. What is thinking? Thinking, we said, is memory, experience, knowledge, memory stored up in the brain, and it's one movement, not separate movement. It's one movement, which is the whole process of thinking. This thinking in relationship has built these images. Me and you, we and they, communist, socialist, all the rest of the world. So, I'm asking myself, I see when there is these two images, you have about her and she has about you, I see the tremendous danger in this. You follow? Do you see the great danger in this? In relationship, in all relationships, whether it's with the neighbor, with your neighbor, or neighbor 10,000 miles away. Do you actually see what happens when there is these two images? It's not question of living in the now. So that's a fact. We go away from the fact. So you are asking yourself, as long as these two images exist, there must be conflict. Right? And the next question is, can I see the danger of conflict in human relationships? Because when there is conflict, there is no love, obviously. So we're asking, can this image making stop? What?
Who's going to answer the question? Who is going to answer the question?
Who is going to answer the question? Both of us together. I have put the question, which is the image making and the images that we have in relationship, and we say, can that image making stop? Not who is to stop it. Please understand this. Not who is to stop it. If you say, I will stop it, the I is the product of thought. Right? So, thought has created the images. Thought says, I'll break it, because it will create another image. Right? So, what will bring about an end to the image making? Yoga? Yoga? Lord Loveduck. Sir, the word yoga, I won't go into it, sorry. That's a distraction. When you are talking about something very, very serious, talk about yoga has no meaning. If you want to discuss yoga, we'll go into it. But not when you are discussing relationship and in which there is conflict. Don't you know conflicts are between you and your wife? Night and day. And can that division of which which thought has brought about, can that end?
When thought ends.
Huh?
When thought ends.
No, sir. No. Can that end? The image making.
We eliminate the use of memory.
Oh,
Being attentive to the present moment.
yes, present moment. That is to live in the present. Right, sir?
Yes.
Is there now? Is it possible to live in the present? What does it mean?
Give your attention to the present.
Now, what does it mean, sir, to live in the present? Actually, not theoretically, actually, daily, when you are in your office, in your home, when you are sleeping with some, live in the present. What does it mean?
Not having images.
That's a theory. You really don't know what it means to live in the present, which is to live without time. I won't go into all that. Again, we are distracted. So I'm asking.
How can we live anywhere but the present?
Huh?
How can we live anywhere but the present? How can we live anywhere but the present?
How can we live?
Anywhere but in the present.
How can we live anywhere but the present? The word present, the actual second, the present. So you see, I can tell you, but it's no meaning when we are discussing this. So can the image maker, which is thought, and the building of images end? If you... Huh? What?
If we still the mind, we can end it.
If we still the mind, we can end it. Now, that is just a supposition. If I wish it would rain, it doesn't rain. So please, for God's sake, stick to what we are talking. Not theories, not conditional responses, which is if, when, all that. The fact is this. If you will listen even, we'll go together into this, but you are so full of ideas. I see the tremendous danger, and I'm using the word danger in its full significance. Danger in relationship having images about her and about him, because that brings about great conflict in life, right? In that there is violence. Conflict means violence. In that there is no care. You might say, darling, how beautiful you are, here is a ring. But conflict goes on next minute. So you have to find out whether this image making can end. Not through effort, because if you make an effort, it is part of, again, conflict. Not through desire, not through a reward. Say, if I do this, I'll get that. So, what am I to do? Put that question to yourself. What are you to do when you have got these two images and you are living with another human being intimately or not intimately, and you have got these images and therefore conflict? What are you to do? Huh?
It started without images. The relationship started without images.
It's thought that results in images.
What?
It's thought that results in images.
It starts without images. What has that got to do with? just a theory again. Start every day anew. Without the image.
The experience of complete, total, and absolute inner silence is the experience of no image.
Absolute, total silence.
Inner silence.
Inner silence. Have you got it?
Yes, I have.
Oh, then the problem is over. You see, you people don't know. Not 24 hours, but occasionally. Yes. The rest of the time, battle. Sir, please, would you kindly listen? I really want to end this. For this image making, I see the tremendous danger in it. So I ask myself, can this end? But the danger is more important than anything else. You know, like a precipice. When you see the danger of it, you move away from it. When you see a rattler, you move away from it. Just listen, one moment, just listen, sir. So I see, one sees the danger of it, which is, why does the thought create these images? Don't please answer it immediately. Go into it a little bit before you answer. Go into it a little bit. That is, I'm asking, why thought, which is, my wife said something to me yesterday, nagged me, bullied me, was happy with me, gave me some comfort when I had, etc., etc. And that has built an image. And that image, I live according to that image. And she does too. And I say to myself, why does thought do this? Don't answer it, yes, sir. Please give 2 minutes to go into it. You can only go into it if you have no ideas about it. If you don't say that this is so, that is so, and jump to words. So you have to find out why thought does this. The thought does it. I'll have to continue because the thought does it because in the image it finds security. My wife, the image, and that in that I'm secure. Wait a minute, sir, just listen to it. My country, right? Security. My group, security. The group being the image which I have created about the group, the image which I have created about the nation, the image about which I have created through religious indoctrination, the image, the Christ, the Hindu gods and all the mess of that business. And so thought creates these images because it finds security in it. Right? Whether that security is in neuroticism, neurotic beliefs, neurotic or some beautiful, fanciful image, it is still the same. So thought finds security, it wants security. Why?
Itself.
Yes, go on, a little further, go on. Go. Don't stop there. Sir, don't, you've said something, investigate, move with it.
Seems to me that thought is impermanent and therefore it's seeking.
Are you sure of what you're saying? Don't theorize about it.
Yeah.
Don't unless you are speaking from fact, everything else is meaningless.
Thought always seeks out security, safety, and certainty.
Which is what? To be certain, secure, all that means it demands complete, inviolable security. Just a minute, why? Why does thought demand this? My wife, you follow? I possess her, she's mine, she's etc., etc., etc. In that there is great certainty, great security. I've identified myself with her. She has fulfilled what I want. And she does the same. It's a mutual interacting exploitation. Sorry to use an ugly word, but it's a fact. So, I say to myself, if thought seeks security, is there security in the image? You understand, sir? I sought security in my wife, the wife or the girl, and I built an image about her. And in that image there is security for me. But it's an image. You understand? It's a word, it's a memory, it's such a fragile thing. But yet I hold on to it.
Sir,
Right?
my thoughts are aware of the passage of time, and I'm afraid it's going to end. So I seek permanency in the images I create.
You seek permanency in anything. Right? So I'm asking, why does thought seek it? No, you go look into it, sir. I seek, please just listen, sir. I seek security in the traditional symbol, in the cross. I seek security in that. That cross, the whole structure, the nature, and all that lies behind it, rituals, dogma, all that, I find security in that. Why? And I know logically, if I'm aware at all, logically, it's a product of thought. Right? And yet thought clings to it. Why? Is that part of our conditioning? Part of our being conditioned from childhood to believe in that symbol? Rama, Krishna, Christ, Why? If thought finds security in it, and thought looks into it and says, my God, there is no security, just an idea. Right? Which thought has put together. So, when thought clings to an image, it is the very essence of neuroticism. Right? I know it is danger, and yet I cling to it. Do you see the absurdity of this? So, do you actually, no, wait a minute, do you actually see the absurdity of it?
Yes, I do.
Then it's the end. No, then you don't create images. Wait. That is, the wife calls me an idiot. Will I listen to her without forming an image? Or the old tradition, habit, conditioning responses, yes, image making. You follow? When she calls me an idiot, no image making. Is that possible? Or when she flatters me, which is the same thing, the other side of the coin. Now, how, if you will listen, I'll show it. Huh? Shall we go into it? Yes. That is, the wife calls me an idiot because I did something which she didn't like, all the rest of it, calls me an idiot. The condition for thought is conditioned, so the immediate response is an image, right? I'm not an idiot, there is an image. Now, can I listen to her? Please find out. I'm going to tell you something. Can I listen to her without a response? You understand? Not indifference. Can I listen to her when she says, darling, you are so lovely? Which is another image, right? Can I listen to her when she calls me an idiot, when she says you are marvelous? Both, you understand, listen to it without storing it, without registering it. You understand my question? You understand, sir? This is very important. Do get this little bit, which is, do you want to go into all this? The mechanism of the mind, of the brain, is to register. Right? It's registering. And it is so conditioned that it registers immediately, idiot. Or say, what marvelous person you are. It is registered. Now, to stop registering, my question. You understand my question? When she calls me an idiot, not to register. Or when she calls me marvelous, not to register. Which doesn't mean I become indifferent, hard, callous. So I can only do that. Please listen. I can only do not register. That's only possible when I give my complete attention to what she says. When she calls me, please listen, when she calls me an idiot or marvelous person, when I pay complete attention, there is no registering. Why? You understand my question? Do it, please, as you are sitting there, do it now. That is, you got an image about your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Gosh, this boy and girl, I'm getting bored with this. We go on till we die with this question, boy, girl, boy, follow, woman, man. Oh, so silly. I am pointing out The image making is the process of thought. Thought has made this image. Therefore, there is conflict in that. I see the tremendous danger in conflict, whether between India and Pakistan or whether Russia. You follow? Tremendous danger because they kill each other. So I ask, can that image making stop? It can. Why does my thought bring about these images? It finds security in these images, right? Security, safety. And yet thought knows how absurd it is. Therefore, when thought clings to something which is irrational, it is neurotic. So, I'm saying, asking, since the brain is so conditioned, it can't let go and say, well, I won't, it's finished. So I'm saying, when the wife says, or the man's husband says, or the boy says, and the girl says, you're an idiot, not to register. Just see. Don't say if it is possible. It's not possible. Find out. Because if you say it is possible, then you're already gone off. Or if you say it's not possible, you have blocked yourself. So, is that possible? Can that be done? We're going to investigate. Why does the brain register idiot? The word idiot and the word beautiful, marvelous, you're a lovely man. Why? One is an insult, one is a flattery. Because the word idiot has a great deal of significance. Right? The word itself is an insulting word. I have an image about myself. And that image rejects the idea that I'm an idiot. You understand? I have not only an image about my wife, my husband, my girl, or whatever it is, and also I have an image about myself. Right, sir? So when you call me an idiot, the image gets hurt. Right? So is it possible to end all image making about myself as well as the other? To end totally all image. Don't say no or yes. So what is the momentum, the energy from which the image making takes place? You understand what I'm talking? No, I'm not making myself clear. I will. Let's begin. As long as there is a center, as the me, with my image, right? That's the center. That image will always get hurt or flattered. Right? So as long as there is a center, it's impossible not to register. You get it? Haven't you got an image about yourself? Huh? If you're really honest and look at yourself, haven't you got an image about yourself? That you are this, that you are rather ugly, that you are rather not so clever, and I wish you were more beautiful. You know, not so bright, not so intelligent, not so. You got an image about yourself. So that image, which is the center of your being, right? As long as that image is there, it must register. Which means, registering means division, conflict, violence, and all the rest of it. When you see the whole structure of relationship, the whole of it, then the center becomes unimportant. You following all this? Center has no value. Therefore, there is no registration at all. The speaker is telling for him a fact, not just an idea. Because I've lived through this. He said, K, this person has lived through this. I've been insulted, hurt, brutalized, kicked about, called him, oh, marvelous, you're the great teacher. Everything. There is no registration because there is no center. You understand, sir? Therefore, no conflict. You got this? So, we began with asking, what is thought and what is experiencing? Right? In the moment of experiencing anything, doesn't matter, sex, looking at that lovely branch, or the evening sunset, and the delight of an early morning, when there is an experiencing, actually that is the second. In that there is no thought. Then thought comes along and says, how marvelous that was. I told it, the moment it says how marvelous, it's captured it. And therefore wants repeated. Right, sir? So, to look at that sunset or the morning light on a leaf, the experience of it, and ending it, not carry it over. All that demands tremendous attention. And attention is not possible when there is a center which says, I must attend, I must get. Right, sir? Right? What time is it, sir?
20 past 12.
Oh. I believe next Tuesday for this dialogue we're going to talk over together about education.
Sir, the lady would like me to ask, is image part of hurt?
Huh?
Is image and hurt the same thing?
The image and the hurt?
Are they the same thing?
Of course. The moment you have an image, you're going to be flattered or injured.